Reapers Underground. We hope you survive.
What is up, demons? God damn, it has been a minute since we've been on a Wednesday night, but you know, with the Chicago tattoo convention coming up this weekend, I wanted to make sure that I could get my my good brother Looney Dingo in the house.
Hey.
And he's not just in the crowd anymore; he's actually here in person.
Yes,
I was
sir.
like, you know, we've got to get you to come to the underground and talk about all the amazing things that you're doing.
Thanks,
Absolutely. He's not only a director but a creator of all different types of media, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of that. But before we get into this business, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Horror Struck Hot Sauce. Hotter than hell. Check it out. That's right. If you love that hot sauce and have a passion for horror, you got it all in one tiny little bottle. So definitely get over there to horrorstruckhotsauce.com. Check out all the new flavors. And I just saw the post today. If you had placed some orders recently, he's got everything restocked, ready to go for you. So get your asses over there and pick up some of that awesome sauce.
Nice.
All right. Now, this is the time. This is the time to share this out anywhere and everywhere. There is a horror lover, I don't even know, a sci-fi nut, anything.
Nerds.
Wake them up. Wake up all them family members. Let's get them on over here because, you know, usually we don't do this early. So, but nonetheless, if you miss it, shame on you. But secondly, you can catch that replay. All right. So how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It's cool you say the family thing too, because we finally worked in Metal Quest, the TV show, which we are super psyched to bring as well. The story will bleed into the movie, but we're going to keep that more PG-13, so it's a little more palatable to watch with families. So you know, we can still collect action figures together and be like, oh, I've seen that with you. Whereas, you know, in the film itself, we can get a little more brutal and action-packed.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
It's just amazing how much the project that actually we're all involved in, which is fucking just a dream come true, especially for me. Of course, we're talking about Metal Earth.
Yes.
And I mean, every time I see any of the new graphics that you put up, I just get even more excited. Go ahead. So sorry.
I was just gonna say it's been a lot of fun. That magic, I think, transfers to me immediately too. Once I get the concept together, it just feels awesome to bring them to life. That one you just showed actually was one with Easter eggs. Because those are 3 characters that have not been announced in the front there, other than you.
Oh, shit.
Mortimer Jangles. And now Len Halson, he's the hummingbird that's up on the logo.
Yes.
But, those 3 you don't know about yet.
Oh, man. So we'll make sure not to spoil that.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, like, even if people, actors, anyone in the project were to spoil anything, I wouldn't be upset. There's, like, plenty of secrets and stuff I haven't told anyone. So like,
Oh, of course,
we're
it's an
good.
ever expanding project, Metal
It
Earth
is.
universe for that matter.
Right. Yeah, and that was the other thing we that has, you know, I've realized recently is that it's my timestamp on it initially was for around up to 20 actors, but between the movie and how that's expanded since we've begun and now the TV show, we're up to like 62 people.
Wow.
Which has really, yeah, and I've capped it off. We've announced that season 1's done casting, and there will be a waiting list for season 2. Like people that are passionate about being involved, I'm more than down to work with you, but we gotta, you know, budget our time and make sure this is done right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I've expanded the timeline a little bit. Something this size is definitely new to me, but like I'm more than ready, and it's been really fun. That's what's driving me the most is how much fun it is, and you all, obviously.
And we're all crazy, so that just makes it even more fun.
Exactly.
What's up, Amber? Saying hello to you there, Looney.
Oh my daughter. That's what's up. What's up, Doodle? That's awesome. Cool.
Hell yeah. So let's just take it back a little bit. Where did your passion for creating and directing come from? Yeah,
man, that's a cool question. I guess where it all comes back to is my grandparents. My grandmother specifically would have me over on the weekends to put on like actual shows in the living room.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was anywhere from like dancing to a song, like with choreography that I would plan, or you know, lip syncing a monologue or doing a monologue, planning a speech.
Before there was ever a TikTok, yeah.
Correct. Yeah, she was just having me do that in the living room to practice improv and, you know, putting on a show. And my grandfather, both of them, may they rest in peace, they changed our whole family to the core because they were all artistic in every way. Like he drew and painted. He was the guy in the paper that drew Nikes and Adidas before there were pictures.
Nice.
So like he was a technical artist, but also like loved sci-fi and really opened our world to expanding the mind and art and pushing forth humanity in that way, which has always stuck with me.
That's really cool. You know, not everyone has the same story.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
When it comes to that. So that's why I like to ask that question every now and again.
Totally.
But usually it's like a mom or a dad or something like that is what most people say. So to hear, you know, that your grandparents were kind of nurturing this kind of creativity, I'm sure it was just as entertaining for them as it was for you.
I'm sure. I'm told I was a very odd child.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Just,
Exactly.
You know, the beat of your own drum kind of thing. But my grandmother kind of had a bit of a darker side to her mind, so we kind of connected in that way, and I think that's why we bonded on that level. With horror and
about the darkness around
here. Yes. Exactly. Speaking of family, though, my cousin Luke, who is he's composed the entire film. He was like my horror guru, so that was like my huge step into the horror obsession realm and finding like the endless journey that is indie horror. Like it's so much fun. And I know I'll never catch up. I can never watch all the ones I want to, but
there's so much. We're talking 50 years of history.
Right. And then we get, you know, 300 to 500 more a year that are to me worth watching. So I'm not sure how I'll ever catch up, but
pick and choose.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's too cool that we have those resources at our fingertips now. We don't technically have to wait to get something animated and wait 3 weeks for it and then nitpick and be like, hey, his hair doesn't flow right and he didn't move the way that I had asked you to move him. Can we get it the other way? And they'll be like, yeah, that's fine, but it's going to be another $3,000. And you're like, Okay. So like we're at a point now where, you know, with some of these animators that we're using, by trial and error, we can manipulate it a little bit easier than that, and get rid of some of that production time and production cost. Which I think that whole conversation is its own, you know, podcast. That debate of AI assistance on things. What's wonderful about this project to me is that it's literally written into the storyline.
Yeah.
So my character, Blue Bite Glitchin, is actually on Facebook, and we're already working on making him actually sentient.
Oh, nice.
So we're applying as many aspects of AI that we can to this to bring these characters to life. So we're basically, you know, curating all that and using our skills as humans to bring it to life. I really don't believe that voice acting will be taken over. Because of the way we act as human beings, and improv acting especially, which we're going to be highlighting a lot in this because we work so well together.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll really show the humanity shining through. And then potentially,
I think it'll add more personality to each one of the characters you've created.
100%, yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, maybe we can actually make it canon so that the robots learn from this and it will actually happen in the future.
Wouldn't that be insane?
Yeah, man. If I can make Blue Bite alive before I die and put my, you know, a bit of my consciousness in him, and I think that would be tight, man. I think we're right there.
Well, shit. I mean, look at what Kiss is doing. You know, they've given up the ghost, and now they're putting a whole concert together to be able to be shown for the next forever.
Are they really? I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
They used, you know, avatars. So all of them are going to be avatars, and their voices, everything has been,
wow,
you know, dubbed in there. So
yeah, I mean,
if you ask me, that's completely AI.
Yeah, it is. Probably. I honestly, like, so I've always been obsessed with not living forever, but I want to live for like a ridiculously long time. And
oh, well, who doesn't?
Right. And I'll always say to people, I'll be like, man, I wanna die like on the front lines of Mars. Like,
that would be insanity.
Yeah, like my brain inside of like a cybernetic body. I don't care, man. I think it's a badass idea, and we're right at the precipice where, like, if I can't do it, my daughter might be able to.
Right.
Like, our tech is evolving so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. All the way around, medically speaking, and everything else. There's shit we don't even know about that they already can do. I guarantee it.
Totally, 100%. Yeah, my father had worked for Homeland Security and Metro and the T and everything, and worked his way up. But yeah, he was in charge of like half the world's transportation. And I know he got to go to a very elite meeting years ago. And the only thing that they were able to tell their families that they saw was that like they witnessed fruit being teleported across the room.
Whoa. That's wild.
That's how they started it. And they were like, everything after this point, you cannot tell anyone.
No, of course not.
But they were like, you can tell them we teleported the fruit. That's it.
Now, if I could do that with my mind, I mean, think about what that would be worth.
Exactly, bro.
I could be the ultimate sideshow event.
Hell yeah, dude. If we can get shit. I mean, so Mortimer Jangles is one of the 3 main scientists in the world of Metal Earth, your character. Yeah. So he's really probably one of the few that we could work in as having a canon story of being sentient since now. But we'd have to, figure that out story-wise. It's got to make sense.
Everything's got to make sense. There has to be a little bit of continuity,
of course,
and even in the animated world.
Yeah, and for my storytelling, I need it for my sanity too. But I love the idea of like capturing the bit of someone's essence for eternity. That's super cool.
Absolutely. I just don't think necessarily, the future of the human race still needs a live Kiss show. That's just me.
I think you might be right on that. They have like the top selling live album of all time or something like that.
Something like that.
I'm not sure why either, but to each their own, bro. I'm an Aerosmith guy.
So was there any animated series that you grew up with that kind of helped shape a little bit of this world of Metal Earth?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've done a lot of reflection on that. As we've done this, Bucky O'Hare. Holy crap. I mean, that's probably one of the first times I saw like bionics added to an animal. Plus it was futuristic and in space. They really need to bring that back. That's a great franchise.
I was also thinking maybe like Robotech.
Robotech was cool. I actually didn't find Robotech till way later. I'm trying to think of like the earliest, other than like the obvious TMNT.
Oh yeah,
Street Sharks.
Wait, which point in time? Because the animation for that cartoon has changed a billion times.
What, the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
I'm talking OG Fox.
Yeah.
90s Turtles. Those
there we go.
Turtles, by far. I did like the new one actually a lot. With like Post Malone and stuff. It was like a whole new approach, but it was cute.
Right.
It was really good.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. It was better than Michael Bay's first attempt.
Nice.
I liked the second one, Out of the Shadows. That was cool.
Yeah.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
I think my favorite one of the film series, anyway, for TMNT is that one specifically, where one of the turtles, it becomes this separate entity. I think it was called Nightwing or something like that. I don't know if you've seen that one. It was at the theaters a long time ago. I just remember that one being really, really exciting. And one of the turtles went off to, work on his inner peace and all that stuff. And then he comes back and finds out that, this is what's going on.
That rings a bell. I think it was Raph, right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was a good one.
I think it's an important series because it really did kick off, like, not just like independent comics, but I don't know, it made like mutant sci-fi mainstream. You can't fuck with that first film either.
No.
Absolutely amazing.
It's just up to us to keep showing people it so they don't forget about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Biker Mice from Mars, 100%.
Oh, wow. Nice one.
Fuck with that show, dude. Apparently they're bringing that back.
Okay.
That's to hear.
Hell yeah. Anything from like Mortimer says Lizzie's favorite line is from Bebop was "I am a little piggy."
Bro, I forgot about
that. Yep.
Oh my god.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, they cut out a couple scenes from them that were in the theater.
Oh, no kidding. Figures.
Yeah, but I think I know why they did it, and I won't even talk about it. But
Mortimer also mentions Toxic Crusaders, maybe.
That was supposed to be the Toxic Crusaders movie. Honestly, if I had known that as a kid, it might have ruined the Turtles movie for a bit, because I was a huge Toxic Crusaders fan. Like, I had every action figure. I had the terrible video game.
All the coolest shit had some terrible game that came out because they just weren't able to capture things the way they needed to.
It's so funny. Angry Video Game Nerd did a video with Lloyd Kaufman where they played that game, and Lloyd was like, "This game sucks." Like, he gets so
I could totally see him saying that too.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome. So, did you do like a lot of drawing and just, kind of creativity growing up and stuff with, creating different characters and whatnot?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, my grandmother ended up making it into a game. So we would like have breakfast together and we put a cereal box in front of each other.
Hmm.
And I actually did this game on on Facebook during the pandemic to keep people kind of busy, but it was monster creation, and we would all show each other our monsters at the end. You got to wait till the end.
Sure.
But each person picks a part of the monster, and you just say like, his head is a soccer ball, his body is a guitar, his right arm is a fork, right? So you create it together, and then by the time you flip it over, you're both laughing at each other's drawing styles because
Of course.
half the time you're like, how did I not think to draw an avocado like that? Like I don't know. It's just fun, and it keeps your brain thinking of weird stuff.
Absolutely. That's kind of how my paintings turn out, because that's like one of my new stress relievers that I've been using for the last couple years.
Painting.
Yeah, painting.
That's
It's one
cool,
of those
man.
things I can't really draw on paper, but man, a canvas and some paints and something interesting happens.
Yeah, it's different.
It's
a
weird.
flow, and you put on music and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Yeah, it's so good for the soul too. You're letting something out, and that's important. I actually love going back and finger painting. I have like a series that I've done that I released on Facebook. I have like some art galleries on there, but where I think I did like Carnage and Venom, the Devil, some Screaming Souls and shit like that, like and a Black Phoenix.
Very cool.
But yeah, it was just for that expression to like just actually feel the canvas, feel the strokes. Like if it looks like shit, throw it out. If it doesn't, good on you, man. You just finger painted and you didn't need a brush, and it looks badass. So, I think people forget that.
There is an art to that. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, and they forget, like, because I did that, man. I wanted my stuff to be perfect, and I thought that looking at something when drawing it was cheating when I was little. So I would torture myself to not look at things and recreate them on paper, like bit by bit, shadowing everything. And I don't know what happened in my life, but something just snapped, and I never do anything normal again. Like, I didn't find still lifes interesting. If it's already been drawn, I didn't want to draw it. Like,
what? Yeah. Why recreate the same thing? It's expressive art should come from within, not from. I mean,
exactly. And no hate towards those technical arts. It's incredible.
No,
I just don't
not
have
at all.
patience for it, and I have to let shit out. So,
believe me, portraits is something that I think is.
Ooh, yeah.
I could never do it.
That's a hard one. I have a couple. They're pretty shitty.
Oh.
Maybe
that's just how you saw them.
I mean, they're pictures of me, bro.
Oh shit! Maybe that's how you see yourself. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
I end up looking like a Frankenstein or something.
Nice. I should try one of you. That'd be interesting. Probably better for my style though, because your makeup's symmetrical. So that could be cool. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've taken a break from physical art, other than like doodling, which I think has been a nice thing, but I don't want to lose it. So I'm definitely down to paint soon.
Very cool. Let's see, what was my next thought? Oh yeah. So how did your love of these, obviously these cartoons and your art itself kind of transcend to doing a lot of different multimedia type stuff that you do?
I think, well, I started in music.
Seems like music always finds us first, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, and it did. It sure did find me at an interesting time when, I mean, it's so foggy now, but it was when I was a single father, like trying to just get by with 2 jobs. And buddy came in, was like, bro, you want to start a band? You have a good voice. So I just played to my strength and had fun, man, for like a decade, and learned a lot about songwriting and working with other people.
Which is the hardest part.
Is the hardest part by far. I mean, it's a miracle to get 4 other people together with you anyway, consistently. That's amazing. But
yeah, getting everyone to show up at the same time that's always the big trick.
But let alone to agree on changes, to agree on song titles, lyrics, etc. Like, you gotta find the right bunch. It's a family, as you know. You're a drummer,
right?
Fucking drummers, man. You got all that shit to lug in.
Yeah, especially if it's 2 flights or more.
Right, exactly.
No fun. I hate those old days. At some of those upstairs bars.
I always, not usually, always tried to help our drummers, man, and I enjoyed helping tune.
Awesome.
The fact that, you know, we would have a drummer that would give a shit enough to tune right before the set, I'm happy to help. You know?
Hell yeah.
So that's cool. And if you're not one of those people, fuck it, man. Destroy that set. Fucking crush it. I don't give a fuck. As long as we're putting on a good show, that don't matter.
Well, what was the style?
The first band was Somatic. That was like our party rock, alternative rock college band. We were more known for our like after parties than our actual shows. And then I was
nothing wrong with being good at that too.
Yes. And then I think I tried to, at that point for a bit, try to calm down the partying days. I think that's part of why I, turned white so early. But after that was the band Chainsaw Baby, which was a blast.
Killer fucking name.
That was crazy. Our logo was a baby dragging a chainsaw, like a ginger with black eyes. They were really talented guys. But yeah, after that, man, I took quite a bit of time off from like entertainment because I kind of went into like a cocoon mode. I was sitting on like this massive box that I still have right here, full of my stories, like that I never quite did anything with.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of me stockpiling for years. I'm like, oh, when I have time, I'll do that.
Oh yeah, we've all said that.
Yeah, and
I need to pull this out and get this finished, and it just continues to sit.
Right. Yeah, and at that point, I had worked at a couple of bookstores, like during that time when I was out of that scene. So that's when I started preparing more, knowing that I wanted to make that my main part of my life, like my end all, be all. I want to leave my daughter the equivalent of a Disney,
That would be amazeballs.
Just an enterprise of magic. Like, what else would be better to leave your kid?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I really did just kind of focus on myself for a while, but then got distracted, blah, 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 with life, relationships, etc.
Sure.
And down the line, I wrote a book, like a future Bible and all this other stuff. And again, just grew that stuff, knowing I was going to do something with it. And then, yeah, one day I had hit like a mental break. I was down in North Carolina with my friend Kim, and I had a revelation on the back porch, like by myself. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
right.
I loved the stage in junior high. I loved the stage in high school. I left because we had a child I was 17 years old, and then, worked the job, fell into entertainment again with the music, but never performed on the actual stage again.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love it, like I live my life as characters constantly. I'm changing my voice all the time, and like, I'm like, why aren't I just doing this? So, and I listen to people like entertainers on Facebook, like ones that I've gotten to know, and they're just constantly just do it, man.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just going to go look out for roles. Like I had something to say for myself. So that horror show that I do, Turbo Cerberus, is like my own show for my.
We're going to touch upon that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for me originally because it was like me giving all the different personalities inside my head that were screaming to get out, like give them life to live and bend them further for, entertainment's sake. And I think doing that freed me up because like at that point I was like, oh, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just gonna live my life as this clown because I've always been a clown. And like I don't understand, like people have always expected me to do differently. I don't know how to not be this. So
you're just being yourself though. That's what's being real.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I've been, trying to tailor myself to the real world for.
What's up, Mary Kate? Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
This might be a first for her.
Really popping on?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah, it's good to see her. She's a good egg.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to. Where was I?
That you don't know how to be anything other than what you are. You refer to it as a clown, but
yeah, I mean, like, but with that, I wear many hats. Like,
yeah, absolutely, I do too.
That's also something I have to be careful with. I realized with that show.
Oh, YouTube likes to nail us.
Well, no, I meant for my own sanity. Like
Gotcha.
Like, I do have borderline, so my like I exercise that muscle when I'm acting, and like my anger or excitement isn't quite real, but I feel it for real. So my heart will be like pounding when I'm Mickey Muppets, or when I'm Jalou DeBeau, like I move like her because I feel like her, and I feel like a completely different entity. So like I have to just be careful with how far I take that, I think, and what kind of roles I end up taking in the future.
That's kind of how I've always viewed Reaper, because once I donned the black and white, I'm definitely not what's underneath. It's my inner darkness, my darker side, my sinister side, my carnage side that comes out. But the heart of Steve Livingood is still there, though.
100%. 100%.
I think that's what creates the balance, so that I don't forget that I'm not this nightmarish, demon clown running around trying to kill people.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's like you wear that as the shell and it's vibrating as that shell, but your inner core is still there and you can break that shell at any point. That's what it feels like to me.
Cody's so right. He's like, shit, you're Reaper in your sleep. And he knows this too from touring with me last year during the con circuit.
Do you speak in tongues?
Apparently, I was doing the show in my sleep.
That's awesome.
You gotta love that.
That's something.
I can't make that shit up.
You're just laying in bed. You're like, welcome to Reaper's Underground. That's fucking awesome.
Beware, maybe you'll make it out alive.
Oh my God. Hey man, get practicing anytime you can, right? Rehearsal.
We're always, trying to up our game.
Exactly. No, I think you're actually a perfect example of like showing that just doing it does it. Like You've talked about how you didn't have formal training for acting.
Right.
I think because, though, you deal with those extreme emotions, it is a bit easier for you to jump into those moments, which obviously you don't take for granted. That's great.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'd say I was just really a big student of film. I spent so much countless numbers of times throughout my childhood where I would practice Jason Voorhees movements, Michael Myers movements, how to be able to create fear without saying a fucking word, because they were silent killers. And then, loving the great Christopher Lee as Dracula in the great Hammer horror films, that was the Dracula that really moved me. So I tried speaking like he does in that low tone, very stern, emotionless face. And then just his quick movements when he's trying to, either grab somebody or lure one of those ladies
Yeah, man.
to him.
I still am obsessed with him, but Vincent Price was like one of my heroes.
Oh man, yes. Absolutely.
I did that voice in the Grinners teaser.
Mm-hmm.
I was all warmed up for it and sounded great, but I was pretty proud of it. I never actually tried to do it to that extent, to really sound like him for a recording, but it worked out pretty well. And someone asked if it was AI, and I was pretty proud of that. So yeah, that's a good thing.
AI, and that's one of the things that I think makes this project really special too, because it's not truly taking over Metal Earth. It's not centered around that. It's centered around your mind, your vision, your storyline, and then with everybody lending their voice talents to bring these characters to life. Nobody can take that and say, oh, well, you're just letting the computer do it all for you. No, the fuck you're not.
Dude, if they wanna come help me, bro, I am so down.
Bring your money. Let's get these programs. Let's do it,
Yeah, I just
DreamWorks style.
Right. Well, and Johnny and I talked about it too. Right now I work mainly with 3 different animation programs, but working with them is so painstaking, and it's really a chess game, within wording, just straight up fuck ups. It sometimes just does not understand what certain things are. It's really interesting. Learning, I'm learning what these robots are capable of as I'm doing it, and I'm usually flabbergasted, by how incredible it is.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the ratio of successful anime, a fully beginning to end successful animation, is 1 out of 8 on a bad day.
Really small.
Well, 1 out of 8 on a bad day, maybe 1 out of 4 on a really good day. But it's also expensive too. So,
well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, each of those animations.
You can't get a fucking app on your phone just to try to do a quick animation for a photo,
right? Oh, absolutely.
Without paying $78.99.
Right. That's true. I mean, dude, honestly,
we're not giving it to you monthly. We're going to give it to you yearly.
Right. Yeah. See, even what is it? Then they do that 100%. One that I use immediately charged me instead of doing the free trial, like they said.
Bastards.
And it was at the time a terrible service, but now it's quite functional. So I'm happy. But they do. They swing you in. They're like, try it out, bro. $87 or whatever, right to your account. You're like, I what?
You're like, no.
Yeah, and they're like, no refunds. But no, I think we're truly in a really interesting age where we can take the things that we have created in our minds and bring them to life with its assistance. And that's, I think, the coolest bridge that we've made.
Definitely.
I often compare it to auto-tune. I still fucking auto-tune, bro, but y'all have best-selling albums and y'all can't sing for anything. I mean, there actually are. There's quite a few artists now that can sing fine, but they can't market themselves without auto-tune, which is even sadder to me. But
it becomes like a signature, and
right.
It gave, I don't want to say talentless people, because obviously they had some kind of personality, but they just
had a songwriter.
They just didn't have the voice,
right.
to bring it. And here's this auto-tune thing, and then it became the cool thing to do. It's like, oh, I want to be like the stars. I need to get my auto-tune and all this shit. I'm sitting here going, God damn it, just practice.
And you're like, yeah. And what's even sadder is when they sing, you hear the raw audio, and you're like, That sounds amazing. Why?
Why did you even do that?
Yeah, exactly. I get that it's the style, but like,
right.
Just as that was embedded into the music realm, before we even knew it, for the past like 4 years, AI has already been embedded in all of the software we're using. Like,
right.
Everything.
Very subtle.
Yeah. So, I mean, for people even to claim that they're not using it, it's silly. If you turn on your phone, you're using it. Like when it comes down to it, to some extent.
To some extent, yeah.
Especially now they got all the new Androids. I just saw an ad. They're like, now with AI built in. So it's there even when you're offline. It's just like AI built into the phone. So we clearly have closed system AI now, or whatever it is.
That's scary. I mean, I thought it was bad that, you could be having a conversation with somebody at, your local dive bar, and suddenly Facebook gives you all the ads that goes along with what you were talking about.
They're like, saw you wanted a yo-yo. You're like, what?
Oh, I heard you make a joke about, erectile dysfunction. Here's a bunch of different pills.
It's so true.
We heard that you were 48 years old. So, about this time, in a man's life.
Yeah, it's true. They just prey on our fears and insecurities, or malfunctions.
And that's intelligence right there, in a way.
Sadly.
But you're using it in such an amazing way, because
thanks, man.
There's literally nobody in animation that is trying to do what you're doing. So that makes it very unique and special.
Thanks, man. That means a lot to me, dude. This has been a journey. I have a friend from childhood. We touch base every now and then. Michael Fredrickson, awesome dude. But he's an animator at Pixar. And I won't divulge for his sake too much, but I asked his opinion on, the AI route of animation. And I had kind of throughout the thing, like, how long have y'all known about this coming? Because, for us as consumers, it feels like it's out of left field.
Right. That's just how much of a lid they had on it.
Right. But from what my understanding is, like, when you live and breathe in the animation world, you're very aware of the changes pretty early on, because you're all talking tech talk in the shop. And I can't imagine, from the perspective of like a passionate animator who started out like Michael, he started on the movie Up.
Oh, yeah.
And he animated the hair on the dogs.
That's not easy.
No. And I'm like, my heart even was like aching. I'm like, how does someone feel? Like, I didn't want to ask him like that, but like, how do you feel when you've dedicated that many hours of your life to meticulously doing a beautiful job at that?
And it's not like you could do it, the hair all at once. It's almost like strand by strand.
It was, yeah. It was follicle by follicle, man.
Woo!
That's back in the day. And that's still so new. So for that job to be taken from you, even though he's clearly moved way past that.
Right.
He's, he won an award for Coco. He designed that whole world.
No fucking way.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
I loved Coco.
Yeah, so like that just reiterates to me though how much we need that human touch for design. For emotion and voice too. Like early on too, I was trying to see for Turbo Cerberus like how much we could carry with voices, because I don't really give a shit what effects I put on my voice in that. Like, that's my free game playroom, is that show.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I was messing around with AIs pretty early on with it, and none of them, from what I've seen, I mean, you can get a story told with pretty good emotion. It sounds like a storyteller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when I listen to it, I'm like, that's great, but that's not how I would tell this story. Like, my mother was a first grade teacher most of my life. And that woman had a storybook collection that she would read with more passion and vigor than anyone you've ever met. Like, She would get anyone into that book. So like you just can't get that. I know that you can like emulate it too. They'll even take your voice, and do recordings based on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not there.
It can't be.
I know we will be eventually, and fuck it. By then we'll have proved our point anyway.
Exactly right. We'll be long gone in the abyss by then.
And honestly, I'm thinking AI is just going to use our movie as reference.
Probably.
On what it should sound like. And it'll be like, cool, thank you for the knowledge. Now we're better. And we're like, okay, remember us. When you're trying to burn the world, remember your creators.
Exactly. And, the story is definitely, kind of in tune with being based on our civilization and just, almost like satirical, I guess.
100%. Dude, I think you and I, when we get to like really work with your character a little bit more, we're going to have so much fun with, because humans are so easy to make fun of. And
right.
Like, I think we're going to have a lot of fun showing like the remnants of humanity and how it's been twisted after millions of years. I've worked a lot with like twisting names and phrases that would have changed over time because they just didn't know better and things like that. Or data was corrupt on some info about the humans, so they got some of it wrong. But I think, as I had said before, like the brutality of humans is inspiring to savage creatures. Some of it. Like us waging war is probably, a gorgeous thing to ants or something. I don't know who, but some species of animal that became sentient would be like, holy shit, that's badass. Whereas, I mean, shit, who knows? Bunnies might think that's awesome, but I would think even rats would be pretty peaceful because they're pretty nice. I had a couple of nice pet rats.
So many of these different species, anything from, let's say, bugs, which we obviously have in this film, to animals is, there's so many of them that people are just terrified of. But when you really break it down and check out how they live and they're actually pretty chill. It's just, they know that they're not big. And if something is ginormous, they're scared as shit of it.
Right. That's true.
And that also kind of takes me back to, what the great Anton LaVey said. He recognized that humankind is nothing more than an animal. And at its roots, our base roots is true.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think a really fun thing in general, though, is to add that sentience to animals. Like, what if they did have that part of the brain grown in? And a squirrel could fly up to us or soar down, with their flying squirrel and chat with us. What would they say? Like, imagine
if we could actually understand what these, creatures are saying. Right. I think it would really blow our minds.
100%. And that's furthermore why we got more into like the mushroom people and sentient plants, because we know plants communicate. We know
damn Skippy they do. People don't realize this shit.
100%. They do. And they have emotions. Like, it's been measured in scientific books, like based upon external stimuli, their feelings change, their vibrations change, and their growth changes. Yes. So like, I'm super into biology. I'm a dork. There was like a good decade where I just had like a massive science dictionary next to me where I just constantly look shit up or just read random shit. But I just find biology really interesting. And then I got into theoretical physics with Michio Kaku, parallel worlds and all that. So by then,
okay.
Yeah,
I can
so
get that.
By then, I was like straight up, like my brain was just like, anything's possible. Here's how, which is where I came up with this
Oh, sure. That's awesome.
space-time measurement tool.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to measure a actual moment in space-time. But
wow,
it's
that's brilliant. I like that.
thanks, bro. I have a labeled version of it. I'll send you. Or I'll post it on this for everybody. But yeah, that appeared to me when I think I was on like his 4th book, and I like had to sort out a bunch of shit. But that helped me literally map out like where these stories took place. So there's Metal Earth. There's a story called Red Riley that takes place after everything on Earth has been wiped, and there's a new creator, a new designer for Earth. And then there's the origin story of that being, and that's called The Skinless Etch of Twicton, which I won't tell too much about. But that's basically an abandoned thought that eventually becomes a god or a creator of the new world.
Wouldn't that only make sense, though?
Right?
There's always some kind of divine being that has to be at the root of this is the one who has given us life.
Yeah, but I loved the idea of an incomplete abandoned thought being cast aside and, was almost absolutely nothing, but was passionate enough to live and work his way through dimensions to become a creator. And I think that in itself is a beautiful story. But yeah, so each of these stories I had to like literally like pin on the page of like what was, what is, what could be, what couldn't be, what is but won't be. I mean, what could be but won't be. Like it's all sorted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure. Like
that's awesome, Cody. Cody says, have you all seen where they hook electrodes to plants and make music, mushrooms and shit?
Yeah, mushrooms are amazing. And their spores, dude. I'm pretty sure we still don't quite understand mushrooms and the way they communicate with spores and stuff. It's amazing. And they grow so fast, bro. That's crazy.
Very much so.
What was it that I didn't like it, but there was like that new zombie series that was saying, the quickest way to a real zombie apocalypse would be fungus. Because there's that fungus that takes animals over. I forget what TV series that was, but I was like, that's so true.
I could see that.
Yeah. I forget what that fungus is called, but yeah, they were like, if our temperature dropped like 3 degrees and something else changed, like that fungus would take over humans. And I was like, that's amazing. We're this close to just being fucked every day. Oh, nice.
Just showing our viewers out there a little bit.
Yeah, that was Obsolete and his family. You can find these character releases on our Metal Earth official page on Facebook.
Yes. It's definitely shameless plug time. Where can everyone find everything about what you're doing? Yeah, so thanks, man. And thank you so much for this time. Absolutely. Right from the start, dude. The moment I told you about the project, you were 1,000 times in, which is beautiful. Oh, it's always been a dream, and I just from the idea and everything that that you were saying about it, I just was like, yep, this is something I want to do. Right. Instantly. Like I can relate to this world. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, so we've got the Facebook up. That's was our start and main spot for right now, but we're expanding into obviously Instagram, and we're going to make our own YouTube channel because there's going to be quite a lot of content coming out. So yes, that'll kind of be launching at the same time as our Indiegogo, which will be coming up very, very soon. Hell yeah, definitely. We will make sure that we are reposting that constantly because everybody out there in the Black Flame universe, just from listening to us and Looney talking about this passion project, there's no reason you wouldn't want to be a part of this world. And there's going to be some awesome killer ways that you can help support. It's never about the biggest dollar, folks. Just throwing that out there. Every little bit helps to make this film happen.
It's true. 100%. And we even have some free perks coming up, but you have to keep an eye out for them. They're going to be like free flash perks for like a day or two or a weekend. But I don't want to give too much away about that.
Right.
Obviously. But yeah, we do have the comic book, which we announced.
Yes.
That's very exciting. I was finally able to like get that to be as savagely bloody as I want it to be. So that's
the beauty of comic books, man.
Yeah, man.
It's your world, and everyone else is just, trying to knock in and get through the door.
Right. Yeah, I do have to say too, another thing that I've run into is censorship with these AIs. Like when I try to animate violence, like it either will just refuse to do it.
Aw.
Or like that's like the 1 in 8 where like suddenly it just fucking shows him chopping his fucking arm off. And I'm like, yes! Or his head sliced off. And I'm like, thank you, God. Like, or a warning will come back and be like, this is not okay. Like it was inappropriate content and it was removed. I'm like, oh,
damn.
Yeah, so I recently
kind of like Facebook and YouTube. If I put up a fucking silly meme that's been used all across any of those mediums,
right?
And they go, we've removed it, and now your account is restricted.
Wow.
Well, I just fought one and I got it back. So
good for you. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I think. Well, now I most recently found that one of our animators that we're using is way better for that. So now, yeah, I'm finally getting shots of like characters' faces being blown off and shit. It looks awesome. So it was nice to get over that hurdle because I really wanted to make sure it could be R-rated gore. We're horror people.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to set everybody's brain in order. Most of the characters that we love potentially have some kind of way to come back in some way, shape, or form.
Badass.
It is badass. And normally that's something I wouldn't tell people about a film, but this is animals. So like I emotionally knowing that going into a film can take more hits, literally, like seeing them get hurt, knowing that they can be resurrected. And I think that'll soften it for all the viewers because I don't want to see them get hurt like that either. Like, and clearly in the future, millions of years in the future, they'd have a way to ensure that. So
the idea of regeneration. Right. Yeah, The Last of Us. Yes.
Yeah, that was the fungi zombie.
Yep.
Sorry, what were you saying before that?
Oh shit.
I can't. We're talking about so many things. Oh, it's all good.
I was talking about the idea of in the future, the idea of regeneration is so super possible. And it's also cool that you're adding that in there because these characters are lovable in their own crazy ways.
Right.
So, the fact that you may be able to see that character come back in a different installment, I think makes it all the sweeter.
Yeah. And one thing that dawned on me, like literally the other day, because I was, I don't want to talk about what I was working on because it'll ruin something, but I realized that in that way, it's almost like Pokemon because like every time they die, there's a new iteration of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to collect each evolution every time they die and there's a new upgraded version. I just want to keep getting, like, I'm such a dork. I'm like thinking in my head.
Wrong with that.
Yeah, but I'm like, I thought it was cool too because I'm like, man, I kind of created that by accident by writing that into the story, but like I didn't realize how much fun that would be to collect, basically. So obviously, I'm going to try and have a big shelf of our evolutions.
Yeah, because it's like any great franchise of this type of stuff where there's constantly new upgrades on beloved characters throughout time, because they're not always going to stay the same. They're going to add this, take away that,
right?
And I think that's a great idea. Very marketable.
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so too, and it's fun to play with for our actors too, because I mean, if one of our actors was like, I want to be killed off, dude, my character, like, I'll play another character, but like, I think he's done, like, he's lived for millions of years and he's so bitter about living still, we could really
for sure
make that happen, but like do it with love. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's wonderful that we have that kind of freedom with you. To be able to communicate that, and be able to maybe move on to the next character. Maybe that new character takes 100%. Over where the other one left off.
Right? Like maybe by the time the sequel comes out, you're like, look, I think Mortimer's great. Blah blah blah. We have this plan for the whatever, but I would like to explore, something else, because I feel like I might have started to outgrow him. Like this is our own thing,
Yeah.
And that's kind of, actually, I'm glad you showed the one with the beavers, because Obsolete's family was like the perfect example. We're going to be doing create a character on our Indiegogo.
Such a great idea. Awesome.
I will put that out there. So, but his is a great example because he reached out and was like, hey man, like, my family, I'm interested in having them represented. And I'm like, of course, dude, that'd be super cool, and can have you saying bye to them before war. And then we talked about it a little more, and he's like, man, my wife, she wants to be a sexy beaver, not like, not like a frumpy beaver, which I'm like totally like 100%, dude. Like, who would want to be that? Right. Other than him, because he's like a tank beaver, as you saw in the picture.
Very portly, very stout.
Right. So I took a lot of extra time to give her like the right physique, and by the end, I was like, "Holy shit, that's a sexy beaver woman! I've never in my life thought of that, let alone."
And now you have.
Now she exists. Now
and that badass. Image is never going to leave you.
No, actually, I have to say one of the best, that's funny, but one of the best things about giving you all, like, not just the rights to your character, but like the emotional and mental space for them truly frees me. Like, it, for some reason, like when I create characters for the show or whatever, like they live in my head after that and I can pull them out of the box whenever.
Yeah.
But like, with Mortimer, he's gone. Like, he can fly into my head and I can play with him, but when I let go of him, you own him. So like, he flies back into your brain as far as my brain's concerned.
Right.
So it like frees up space in my head for some reason, and it's been a gift, a real gift from all of you. So like, I really appreciate the love and passion that you've given these creatures.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us tonight on the Underground, man. It was way past due. Way past due.
It was, yeah. Sorry I ranted so long, man.
No, not at all, brother. But yeah, definitely going to have you back on. We got so many different dimensions we can talk about, and support all of the passion projects that you're working on. And like I said to everybody out there in the Black Flame universe, you will definitely have to stay peeled to Looney's Facebook, as well as the official Metal Earth page on Facebook as well, to keep up with the latest and greatest news regarding this film and this universe. Sure. So definitely follow, like, and share.
Thank you so much again, man, for having me on. This is super cool. As we talked about, I was for some reason scared about live. So this is like a nice.
Until you're in my world.
Right.
Everyone realizes there's no reason to fear Reaper.
No, but Sydney helped me out with that. That was my
For
first.
sure. And
yeah, this is really nice. So thanks for being cool about that. This was really nice.
Thank you so much. And for everybody that showed up for you tonight, what is your lasting message for them?
I love you. I love you all. Thank you. Truly, from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't do it without you, for real.
And we feel the exact same way, brother. Thanks. Humble as fuck as always. And that is what the underground is all about. Don't forget, next, you should go over and check out Sydney Author's Learn to Go podcast. Definitely check that out. And as you're going into the workday tomorrow, always keep one foot on the ground and one in the fire. And always stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Reaper's Underground. Stay tuned for more from Black Flame.